Hello, welcome to How to Hike the Shawnee. I'm your host, Matt. So, today we're going to do something a little different. I've done a lot of hiking videos in the past, and generally I just like to kind of walk around, take some pictures, show people some stuff around the Shawnee, and they're not that exciting. And I kind of realized something, and today I was on a hike with my mom in Cedar Creek, and she said, your videos, she goes, they're great and everything, but she goes, why don't you tell people actually, how to hike? She's like, people go to YouTube to learn how to do things, not to watch people do things. And I'm like, yeah, she's got a point there. Most of the time when I go to YouTube to watch a video, it's so I can learn how to do something or see how to do something. So I wanted to approach this hiking video a little different than normal. I want to show you, instead of, like so much about what the hike is like, I want to show you how to do the hike. So that's going to be this new series. Our first episode here, this is episode 1, is going to be Cedar Creek, and we're coming in from the back side. I'm going to show you the maps, and I'll show you some of the turns that you're going to make, and how you can kind of help keep from getting lost if you're worried about that, because hiking in the Shawnee, I wouldn't say that you have to be a genius to do it, but it helps to kind of have an idea where you're at, because it's pretty easy to get lost out there. So without any further ado, let's get started. Episode 1, Cedar Creek. Okay guys, here we are, Southern Illinois, checking out the Shawnee National Forest. And as you can see, most of the forest is either on the right side, the east side, or the left side, the west side. And there's not much here in the middle, and that's where we're actually going to go and check out today. The Cedar Creek area is kind of in the middle. Now, the usual way you would access Cedar Creek would be the Cedar Creek Trailhead located on Gum Springs Road, and that's not the way we're going to go in today. It's not great for winter because there's a great big parking lot here, but the trail, you cross Cedar Creek maybe 3 times before you actually make this kind of left turn and start heading to the west. And in the winter, those are some deep crossings. They're going to be over the top of even waterproof boots, and it's going to be pretty miserable to get your feet wet when it's, cold right at the beginning of the hike. So in winter, we're going to start hiking from the west side, and we're going to access the area. Most of the time, I'm coming in on 45, so I'm going to turn on Gilead Church Road. I'm going to follow Gilead Church Road until I get to Garfield Lane. You can't really miss it. There's a sign here that says Garfield, so you'll make a left here and you'll go down a little ways. And let's switch to a satellite map so we can get a good look at this. Now, this is what we call the boot camp. So people will say, hey, we're going to start the hike at the boot camp. And the reason why is this fence, which you can kind of see here along the edge of the road, is got a big old boot on every post. So that's something to kind of remember. And there's plenty of room through here. You can pull off several cars and park them and take off. So you're initially going to be walking down kind of a not such a great, probably going to be muddy road. You might see some trails going back and forth. There's a trail early. You can see we took it. It's going to go off into this private land here, and it's not going any direction that is going to really take you anywhere, I think. So you're going to stick on the river-to-river trail. Watch out for the blue eyes and follow this trail. Eventually you will... Okay, you can check out this. This is an old house place. You'll be seeing kind of old house places along the edge of the road. There's some places to check out. And eventually right here you're going to break off of this power line that you've been following. This dirt road kind of follows a power line, and you're going to break off and turn right into the woods. Now at this point it'd be good to switch to the Topo Map. So USGS Topo Maps are free to download. You can find them all over the internet. They're super high quality. This particular image was over 9,000 pixels by like 8,000 pixels. It's a huge image file, and I only needed the bottom right hand corner. That's the Cedar Creek area. So there's Route 45, and let's zoom in and we'll find Garfield Lane. So let's see, Route 45, we're on Gilead Church Road, and there's Garfield Lane, and there is the river-to-river trail. So you're going to be parking here, and you're going to be following this dirt road in until you break off into the woods. And right about here, this is some pretty nice hiking along this ridge, and right about here on the other side of that creek, you're going to see and this is an easy creek to cross. It's a small tributary creek. You're going to see a like a fire pit, and something I'm not used to seeing. The fire pit was actually going. There was no one around, and there was a fairly sizable fire in this big fire pit, which is weird. Now, right when you see the fire pit, if you start looking to your left around this corner right here, you're going to see the sign that says a small trail and a sign that says JD Falls. And you got to be watching out for that. So you'll follow this trail up, and things are going to get a little tougher here. This is a pretty rugged trail that falls along this ridge, and eventually you'll be at JD Falls, which I used to call Cedar Falls because I didn't know it was called JD Falls. And this is a pretty nice waterfall. If you catch it at the right time, it's going to be really moving a lot of water across, but most of the times it's just a small trickle, so usually not all that impressive. Well, guys, here we found JD Falls. The trail will go up, and if you follow up, you'll see a big deer stand up here, kind of like a large structure. And you realize that you're not very far from the car. You're probably about a quarter of a mile or so, or even less, from where you parked. You'll be able to see a house out here. And this is just a reminder that, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but when you're in the Shawnee, you're never really in wilderness. I mean, you could probably walk an hour in any direction and run into a road when you're in the Shawnee, because it's so broken up by private land. And you will follow this trail around the top of the waterfall, and you'll come out. There'll be some slick rock. It's pretty interesting through here. Some neat slick rock trail. You wrap around this other side, and then this is a really nice ridge trail. This is really scenic hiking. Lots of big broken rock formations have fallen off the ridge through here. Very, very good hiking. You follow around this ridge. You can see the creek down below you, and it's pretty nice. And eventually you're going to come out onto this dirt road. And when I say dirt road, I'm being kind of gracious, because it's really just almost looks like a larger trail, but it is a actual road. And if you were to turn right, you would end up going right back to the Garfield Lane that you came in on. So there is a trail that crosses, but if you keep going, you'll end up just kind of going this way. So you don't want to do that. Go back. You don't want to go back to your car yet. So you're going to want to make a left turn and start walking down this dirt road. You're not going to go very far. Oh, and real quick here, if you happen to look up back the way you came right here, you will see a sign that says High Creek Falls. And that's going to take you back, or I think it's High Falls Trail, something like that, take you back. So that there is a little sign there. But if you walk along the road for a short distance, you'll eventually see another trail that goes out into the woods, and this is one you definitely want to take. It's another great trail. It wraps around this ridge, and you're going to come to the Cedar Wonders Arch. Cedar Wonders Arch is what they call on this map, but everybody that I've heard it call the Easter Basket. And the Easter Basket is a little tiny arch. You can walk underneath it, but it's a pretty unique rock formation. I mean, I don't see too many like it, and it's a pretty cool thing. So you definitely something, if you go to Cedar Creek, you want to check out. I used to always call it the world's smallest natural arch, even though I'm sure there's many smaller ones, but it's just the right size to sit underneath or climb on top of, and it's a pretty cool rock structure. After the arch, keep going. You'll work your way down this ridge, and you'll be right back to that fire pit and back onto the river-to-river trail. So at this point, depending on how much time you have, you could continue to the right and get some more of the river-to-river trail and see what that has to offer, or you can go left back the way you came. And that's what we had to do because we were running short on time. So this is a really cool area to check out. You're likely to see some horseback riders like we did, but you're also likely not to see anyone. It's not a real popular area, so you're not likely, you're not probably going to see big crowds here, but you may occasionally see horseback riders. especially if you start at the other side where you're more likely to see them. This is a really great hike in spring because a lot of these rock formations, these big chunky broken rock formations, will have wildflowers growing on top, and I've gotten some great images there. And it's just a pretty cool place to hike. If you have a lot of time, you can easily hike 10 miles here and see a lot. So this was about a 4-mile hike, and this was a great kind of 2.5 hour sightseeing hike, and no problem with creek crossings, and got to see a waterfall, got to see a natural arch. I mean, what more could you want? Great hike in the Shawnee. So as always, guys, remember, be safe out there. Don't go somewhere without somebody knowing where you're at. Make sure you have a map, a GPS. You do not want to get lost and be that person who has to call and say, help, I don't know where I'm at. Be prepared if you go into the Shawnee. Just watching this video is probably not enough. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.